Hey everyone, I was going through all my Power Rangers stuff, and I just got some of the new Hasbro Lightning Collection stuff. It's really cool. I'm really liking the stuff, and I've seen some fans complain about some of the stuff that Hasbro's been doing, and I can see it. Things like the monster figures being wildly out of scale with the Rangers, or like paint jobs being iffy, and various other things. Let's see, I think there was a Zord that didn't get released for Beast Morphers, but anyway, it's all pretty. I don't know, it doesn't bother me that much because I know Bandai. I grew up with Power Rangers, I've always collected the toys, and Bandai could get really weird. I haven't seen Hasbro do anything nearly as bizarre as Bandai would do, like, regularly. Like the weirdest thing so far that I've seen is let's see, that's like purely Hasbro. I'm not talking about like the Play School line or any like the side things. I'm talking about like the standard line, the Lightning Collection. Um, Usada, the Yellow Beast Bot. I can't remember what he's called over here. Jax, I think. He came with carrots. I remember seeing that and thinking, why does he come with carrots? And then that ended up being a plot point in the show that instead of in the Japanese series where Yoko would need to eat candy, Zoe needs to eat carrots. Alright, it's strange, but it's not like Hasbro's own choice. That was whoever was doing Beast Morphers. Saban started it, so it was his strange, weird ideas. Anyway, back to I get off track really easily. Anyway, Bandai does weird stuff, and I love it. I don't even have like a whole like I have a lot of Power Ranger toys. I've been collecting all my life, but I don't have nearly as much as like some collectors. I don't have like too many complete lines of stuff, but I have well enough to talk about when it comes to Bandai doing weird things. In fact, there's a ton of weird Bandai things I don't even have. So I just wanted to talk about some of the ones I do have. I found this on eBay a while ago. Zanaku. I love Zanaku in Wild Force, so I was really happy to find this guy. Look at him. Yeah. Isn't he just the coolest freaking thing? And he has his horn. It folds down. Whoops. Ah, there. He's a head flipping toy. And I was wondering, how does he head flip? He's Zanaku. What's under there? Is it Merrick? Kind of. It's kind of Merrick under there. Why does Zanaku's head flip to reveal the Lunar Wolf Ranger helmet? Also, what's with his arms? That's the only way his arms move. They don't swivel forward, they don't have 360 movement, they do this, and nothing else. You can twirl him around, make him look like an idiot. Why does Anaku turn into... Or why does his helmet... Who knows? And the head flipping Rangers, they were some of the weirdest. Bandai really loved those, and for, let's see, up until I think Time Force or Wild Force, they were doing the head flipping Ranger toys. And they even would do them when they made no sense. All the bodies were like the big, beefy muscle bodies. So even the female Rangers would have big, beefy muscle bodies. And Justin from Turbo, he was a little kid. So what do? They did put the little kid head on this huge body. But that's not the only weird thing. The detail on the front, the yellow parts, disappears when you head flip him. What logic does that make? Like, the idea is that they take their helmet off, and that's why they're helmetless, but just because they take the helmet off doesn't mean details on their outfits disappear. So yeah, that's really bizarre. I don't know what they were thinking. And the head flipping toys weren't just for Power Rangers. There was a Masked Rider one. Yeah. Super Gold. I remember, let's see. I got this at a yard sale. I saw, oh, cool, Super Gold. I picked it up, and then later I found out, oh, it's a head flipping Ranger. I wasn't looking too closely at it. Uh, okay, so I figured it's Dex's head. But it's just normal Masked Rider's head. Like, I guess. There was a normal Masked Rider head flipping ranger. You flip the head, and it's human, or, well, Edenite Dex. But this, it's... Whoops. Yeah, sometimes he's got stuck. Yeah, just his alternate helmet. Yeah. And that's about it for the head flipping rangers, although I do have some other weird head related things. See, right here is one of the Mystic Force Rangers. In that season, the Red Ranger got this power-up, the Dragon Fireheart became this armor for him, and they made, the Green Ranger got this armor, and Solaris Knight got it. I think they made a Yellow Ranger one, too, just because all the male Rangers have the same body mold. But the weird thing is, the head flips around to this weird silver, like, Buddha-looking face. I don't know what in the world that is. Like, there is a face that appears when they morph, I think. I can't remember. I haven't watched Mystic Force in a while, but I think that was the logic here. But then there's this, where it's all red, and the chest changes in that clear plastic part. Like, there, it looks normal, just with the armor on. Then there's, like, this silver thing on there. And then there's that. Oh, and it's the Red Ranger's, visor. Yeah, weird. Mystic Force is probably most infamous for this really weird figure. Now, they made Genji. That's really cool to get a side character as a toy. And he's a really nice little figure, except the knees are unfortunately very brittle. That one's cracked, and I gotta be careful with it. But anyway, yeah. The sculpt is really nice. It's just too bad he's not more durable. And he does this weird thing. I have no idea. Why does Genji's head come off to reveal Nick's helmet? What? And the weird thing, in the box, I think I remember the head was separated from the body. Like, I remember seeing this in stores and just thinking, what in the world? Man, that is definitely, like, a contender for one of the weirdest things Bandai ever did was removable Genji head. See, and then I have a kind of a boring thing. Let's see, a while ago, like during the Neo Saban era, when they would put out vehicles, they'd include a Ranger. And they did tons of weird vehicles that had nothing to do with the series. They never had showed up in the series. I don't know why they were making them. I don't know who the target was for those. But they started to, like, the Rangers wouldn't be painted all the way. Or they'd only be painted a little bit. And in Ninja Steel, we got this guy. Clear see-through. He looks like a Jolly Rancher with a mask on. Anyway, one of the weird things, his knees bend forward. I don't know why. Also, his hands, no swivel, so they're always stuck in, like, gripping a motorcycle mode. I don't know why they didn't paint him. Like, it is kind of nice that he's this kind of gel see-through type of thing. It's a little unique. It's better than what they did for Dino Charge, where they just had an unpainted figure stuffed in there. Let's see, and then next I have the Bendy figures. Back in Mighty Morphin, the Bendy figures were a big deal. They made them all the way up till Season 3. I don't know if Zeo had Bendy figures. I've never seen any. But Turbo got Bendy figures, and the weird thing was they just repainted the old Mighty Morphin mold. You can see the diamond design there. And they just painted the Turbo stuff over it, and this is Tommy's mask, but they tried their best to paint it like the Turbo Rangers, and if you look really close, I don't know if it'll show up, there's gray there for the silver part of the Turbo helmet that would be over the ears. Yeah. Oh, and you can make out the diamond design on the gloves and on the boots, too. So, yeah, I guess maybe they didn't have Zeo figures, or they would have just repainted those instead of these Mighty Morphin molds. Strange. I mean, everything's strange. when I was going through all my figures looking for weird ones, I got to my Operation Overdrive box. And I just brought out the whole thing because Overdrive had a lot of really weird figures. One of the weird things they did was they had all these weird, like, armored rangers. Like, it's cool looking and all. Then there's that weird little magnet thing in the front there that messes up the logo that should be there. But it is a cool looking figure, so I can understand what the thinking was. But then there's a thing... Oh, and the articulation on him was really good. So it's weird that they made a figure with a Defender vest, which is actual armor from the show, and his arms are stuck in this one pose. You can't change them. So how come the one with the armor that doesn't even exist, that one gets good articulation, but this one with the cannon armor, that one doesn't? Anyway, Sentinel Knight got a figure. And, kind of looks like a Cheeto. Especially from the back. They went really orange with him, which is weird. Like, I would have thought, like, if paint was that big of a deal, I would have gone with yellow, not all this orange. Oh, and also that stupid magnet whatever thing on the front that ruins the design and makes it inaccurate. I don't know why the gimmicks had to get in the way of everything. Speaking of weird gimmicks, there was a couple of figures. They were pretty nice little figures. Decent articulation, no elbow movement, but their shoulders had decent articulation. And there's a giant gap in his stomach there. Also in his wrists, and the shins there. Armor, like, snapped on or something. But I rarely find these figures with the armor. They're always, like, just by themselves. That's weird. Then I have a couple of Ranger figures. Let's see. The female Rangers had some really nice designs. What they did with the skirts was they just, like, incorporated them into the actual sculpt, and they're, like, part of the legs, so you can still pose the female Rangers really well, and they still have that, kind of looks like a skirt. Then they re-released those, and the white was all painted silver. Yeah, kind of this weird bluish silver. Like, they're nice figures, but now they're inaccurate, which bugs me. That's always bugged me. When I was little and I was getting the Power Ranger toys, I liked them to be show accurate. If they weren't show accurate, I didn't really want them as much. But, I don't know, maybe I'm in a minority on that because they kept doing it. They kept making weird, inaccurate toys. Let's see, this one isn't too weird. Here's the gold Zeo Ranger. This is one of the really big figures. He does this. I guess the idea is his arm would be like holding a weapon or something, but let's see. Oh, and I have his weapon. There you go. Why does it just go down? Wouldn't it be cool if it shot up so it would look like he's summoning Pyramidas? Pyramidas. I don't know, maybe you're supposed to hold it down and then... I don't know. There's a lot of figures that do this. They just jerk their arms up and down. Oh, and let's see. Oh, the 2010 line. That was a weird one. Let's see, all the Rangers, they were fairly decent figures. Black Power Blaster clips into the belt there. They all came with these big chunky gold things. They plugged into this hole in their back. They had other ones that they'd hold in their hands, and then there were more chunky gold talon things that clipped onto their feet. And I don't have them because I threw them away. I didn't want them. They weren't from the show. They weren't from the reversion. They had no reason to exist, and they looked ugly. And I always wondered, all the plastic that went into those, couldn't they, like, maybe do away with that and put some more plastic into the actual figure? Or maybe, I don't know, paint the weapons? instead of just having them all be black? Like, it's not a problem, it's just... Why? It's like that JonTron thing. But why? Why would you do any of that? That sums up Bandai. Anyway, we did get a really nice Alpha figure in that line. Who, let's see. Oh, I don't have the figure on me. Alpha came with a little Zordon. Isn't that cool to come with a little Zordon? Like, I've wanted a Zordon toy ever since I was a kid. I didn't grow up with the Command Center playset. This is what I had to deal with. Yeah, look at... He's tiny. He's smaller than Alpha is. I don't really know what the idea was. Why did they think we wanted a teeny tiny Zordon? And what's with the face? It doesn't really look like Zordon. It actually looks a little like the Zordon from the 95 movie. Was that what they were going for? Was that Zordon? I don't know. They didn't make any other figures for the movie until quite a few years later. Anyway, another figure from the 2010 line I want to talk about is Goldar. He's a really well-sculpted figure. The color's really nice, which makes me wonder why Bandai and even Hasbro has such a problem with gold paint. On the Legacy Gold Ranger, they had like this cheese armor. The Goldar from Hasbro is all yellow cheesy. But this one looks fine. The only major issue with him is he can't move. He has shoulder and leg articulation, which is all hindered by his armor. The waist armor blocks his arms, the shoulder pads... the waist armor blocks his legs, the shoulder pads block his arms. The only thing that moves is his feet on a swivel. Why was it so important for his feet to move, but not anything else? They couldn't add a swivel in his arm? To, like, swing his sword around? So you could kind of pose him? No, he's like this, and then you can swivel his feet around for no reason. Bizarre. Oh, and speaking of bizarre, let's see. Got this figure of Divatox here, missing her ponytail and her little cape thing, but yeah, either otherwise than that, it's in pretty good shape. The weird thing, let's see, her action feature is this. She waves her arms around. And this arm gets stuck on the skirt because it's gripping and it's right exactly where the skirt ends. Why does she do this? I don't remember the episode where Divatox thought she was a chicken. I do remember the episode where she thought she worked in a pizza place. Let's see, what other weird ones we got? Oh, in the 2010 line... Oh, this is in the way of the light. In the 2010 line, they had designed a Rita figure, but we didn't get it until the Samurai line. So all that time of waiting, and here it is. Droopy hair. Oh, and the face isn't really painted that well when you compare it to other figures in the line. And the wand is nice. But yeah. Also the chest plate sticks out really far and straight out. It isn't like supposed to be tilted up a little bit, and where's all the stuff above it? Isn't it missing some pieces? Then the white shawl on the back is colored gray. I remember people asking, is that her hair? It's colored the same color as her hair. Oh, and her hands are huge. Her hands are as big as her head. Another weird thing, under the skirt, they sculpted legs. Why did they bother sculpting legs? They don't even touch the ground. And you can't see them unless you're looking up the skirt. They might as well have done what they did with the Mesagog figure and just had it completely hollow. Yeah. But everyone still wanted this because we'd never gotten a Rita before, which in itself is kind of weird. The very first villain of the most popular series that they really, really, really wanted to promote, especially later on, never got a figure, except for this weird little crappy one. Let's see. I did a video a while ago, Stream of Consciousness, where I just went through some Power Ranger figures and talked about whatever. And I'll talk about them again. The Grinder figure is a really nice little figure. Not the best articulation in the arms or the knees, but the weird thing he does is his face falls off. And you see this thing, which wasn't in Power Rangers, that was only in Sentai, which is a thing that happened a couple of times. There was a Power Rangers in Space figure, I think it was Ecliptor. He came with the little, white-headed guy from Mega Ranger that makes the monsters grow. His head looked like the head of Beryl from Nightmare Before Christmas. Another weird figure here. Daishi, and he has this little button on his thing. You press that, and the lion mouth moves. Yeah, remember when that happened in Jungle Fury? When Daishi was talking to Camille? I must defeat the Rangers. Yeah, he's right. We must defeat the Rangers. Yeah. Chest Armor was my favorite character. And then we got Moltor here, whose design is ruined by that magnet, and his face is ruined by being way darker than it should be. The whole reason is because he lights up. The battery's dying, so it doesn't light up very well. But I would have, far preferred a figure that didn't light up, didn't do whatever this magnet thing in his chest is all about, and just had a nice figure. Which, this would have been a really nice figure if they didn't go out of their way to mess it up by screwing with the face and putting this thing on his chest. Now I have a figure I just got a while ago, Mordant, from the Power Rangers movie. And if I didn't tell you that, you probably wouldn't know, because he doesn't look anything like Mordant. They made a Bendy figure that was accurate to the movie, but this guy, I don't know what happened. He's short, really, really fat, has 2 belly buttons. His face doesn't look like Mordant's at all. And here's his action feature. You put his arms out, and he does that. Originally, he came with, a little axe and a little shield, and the axe, banged against the shield when you did that, I think. Remember his sword and shield from the movie? I don't. Or axe and shield, whatever it was. All I can guess is this was an early pre-production design for him. But I've never seen an outfit that looked like this. We have gotten some leaked clips from the original version of the movie, like the Rangers without the visors in their helmets. Or there was... Oh yeah, the rat monsters. You can see them in a few pictures. And then there's this monster that Dulcia had called Snoggle, I think. So, I don't know, maybe Snoggle had some influence on Mordant's design. Who knows? And let's see what else I have here. Just about any box, it's a good bet that I could open it up and find, a weird Bandai thing. No matter what box it is of Power Ranger toys. Here's the Goldar figure from the 2017 movie, exclusive to the Ranger Team box set. And he's in scale he's the same size as the other Rangers. Which is weird because he was never their size in the movie, and they never made a Megazord that was the size of the other Ranger toys in this line. Now, there was a Build-A-Figure Megazord, but that came with the Legacy line. They never did a Legacy Goldar. And also, what's with the articulation? The arms are okay. I would have liked a wrist swivel. But the legs... Yeah, only the thighs move. Knees... Yeah, screw knees. Who needs knees? And also no weapon, even though his hands are sculpted to grip things. They made a giant Goldar figure for the movie, and he came with his mace. Was that even in the movie? I can't remember now if that was actually in the movie or not, but nonetheless, he is sculpted to grip things, even though he doesn't come with anything. And this has been going on for a while, so I'll just go over these last two things. Let's see. For quite a few Power Rangers seasons, Bandai made really nice little figurines. They were well painted, well sculpted, but sometimes they weren't. Sometimes they were really poorly painted, or sometimes they'd just look weird. For RPM, they had some really amazing figures of the bad guys, General Crunch and General Shifter. Unfortunately, they weren't painted. Yeah, they're just these clear see-through things. It's too bad, because when you look at the detail on these guys, they are amazing. Anyway, I'm still happy to have these, because I really liked Crunch and Shifter. They were some of my favorite things in RPM, but man, I really wish we could have gotten, like, standard-size figures. Like, instead of the grinder, yeah, make Crunch or Shifter or Kilobyte. That would have been cool, too. Anyway, yeah. Weird see-through figurines. Even though the Rangers themselves were not see-through. So I don't know why the monsters were. Well, that's all. See ya.